the child who is engaging with you because you are engaging with that child. And the scaffolding that happens when we are reading a story called The Zigzag Zeffie, and how a little child might say, I have a dog like that, and then inviting more questioning about that. So my workshop is going to really focus on storytelling, and we're going to have some fun with some puppetry and things. Um, Here's what I'd like to do. I would like to ask you to participate in something. This is something I do in grade 1 and grade 2 and up. This is an agree, disagree storytelling thing that you can use in a classroom. I make two signs, one that says agree, that I hang on one side of a classroom, one that says disagree on the other side. So here's what I'd like you to do. And I know you're not visible, some of you are, but I just want you to do a thumb up like this if you agree. If you disagree, a thumb down. And I'm just going to ask some goofy questions. Here's the first one. It's my favorite question to ask adults. I think that toilet paper should be put on a roll so it falls like a waterfall and not the other way around. Do you agree or disagree with that? And you can, yeah, Goldie has put it in the chat. You're welcome to do that if your fingers are flying. Okay, number 2. I think tattoos should only be allowed if you're 20 years or older. Even though I don't have one. I don't like needles. Here's number 3. I think that everyone has a secret talent. Yeah. I think that shoes that have laces are old-fashioned. Do you agree with that or disagree? I think that sour cream and onion potato chips are the best. I'm going to vote for that. I think that pizza with pineapple is yummy. I know this is an ongoing debate. Well, you guys are agreeing with everything. You must have had lots of coffee. I think that living on the moon is a crazy idea. I agree. I don't want to live on the moon. I think that watching golf on TV is really boring. I agree. Although my nephew, Lindsay, see, Lindsay likes golf. And the last one, I think Goldilocks was trespassing when she went into the three bears' house. I agree. I think she was trespassing. So making time for having opinions is part of storytelling. Making time for asking goofy questions in those moments when we might be reading something. We might be reading The Three Bears and talking about what really happened when Goldilocks, did she even knock on the door? And I love retelling that story and retracing that story instead of just reading a book and closing it and moving on to the next thing. I should know also, I'd like to know how many of you are in a classroom. How do I show that? Just put a yes, put me in the, yeah, I like what Stephanie just said, me. So Stephanie's in a classroom. Yeah, there are some other people, and I recognize you may be subbing from time to time. Otherwise, you would be in a classroom today, unless it's a PD day. Is it a PD day in Ontario today? Yeah, so lots of classroom teachers. Cool. So you may be also homeschooling. Some of you may be here out of interest as a literacy support person. Wherever you are, I think about the opportunity to linger. I call it lingering with the beauty of a story. And I'm a huge promoter. I love the bookmark that I think Stacy Sullivan gave it to me that says, no app can beat a lap. And I mean, snuggle up and read with a good book. So that's what I'm all about, making time for story. I've got a list of things a mile long here that I want to accomplish, and I know I have to stop in 15 minutes. We're going to move on to a storytelling strategy, and you're going to go into breakout groups. Don't be scared; it's really fun. I'm holding up something that I make very portable. I carry this to nursing homes and I carry it into classrooms. It's just on Bristol board, and it's a story prompt thing. Just read this with me, even in your kitchen or wherever you are at home. So once upon a time, everybody do that. Follow my finger. Once upon a time, and every day, and every day, and then one day, and because of that, and because of that, and so now. So you don't have to turn your camera on, but I want you to take your mute button off. And here's what I want to do. We're all going to read Once Upon a Time, and then I'm going to start. And then I'm going to call on you in your little dark screens up there. And your job is to jump in with the next line. You don't have to come on the screen, but I want you to jump in with an idea. Are you ready? We're all going to read this. Here we go. Once upon a
time, and
Here,
every day.
just a second,
and
just
every
a second,
day.
just a second. Try that one more time.
Once upon a time,
My turn. There was a lonely elephant. And every day, Megan, what happened, Megan, to that lonely elephant?
He would play with a frog by a pond.
And every day, I'm going to call on Mylene. Mylene, what did that elephant do with the frog?
It met he sang with the frog.
Okay, cool. And then
one day,
what happened, Stacy?
They met a raccoon.
And because of that, what happened, Sandra? Because he met a raccoon.
That they had a wonderful lunch together because raccoons are great at gathering food.
Yeah. And because of that, the elephant learned to wash his food like the raccoon. And the very last line, and so now I'm going to call on Madina. What happened with that elephant in that?
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead. And so now the elephant and the raccoon
Have a better friendship.
They have the best friendship and they go everywhere together. How wonderful. Give that a snap. Now you are going to go into breakout groups of four people in a group. The prompts for the Once Upon a Time storytelling thing you'll see magically appear. And we're going to spend 3 minutes trying out this thing. I want everybody to do the line like we did together. So you'll all four of you will say Once Upon a Time, and then somebody jump in. And then one day, and then somebody jump in your group of four. It'll be fun. If it's easier to do groups of 5, that's okay too, whoever is doing that. And we're going to come back in exactly 3 minutes. So watch for your breakout room. Here we go. We had a great time with our group. Did you have fun with your group? Thumb up? All right. Okay, I know that many of you have brought a story object. I have a story object here that has something connected to me, and I'd like you to come on the screen because I need your faces and your object here. And I'm going to call on a few of you to just share a little bit about what it is you brought. And keep your mute button on. until I call on you, what it is you brought and how it connects to you. I also want to check in with Sandra or Emily and find out how much more time do I have. Can you tell me that?
You have 25 minutes, Jan.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, because my time frame here is a little wacky. You know, Newfoundland time. We're crazy fun people out here, but we really. All right. So if you don't have an object with you, it's okay. You can leave your screen off. But if you have an object beside you, I ask people to do that. Leave your screen on because I'm going to call on you. Okay, I'll start. I'm a gardener, and this is something that I poke into my garden and it marks where the yellow beans are.
Yes, I do, Jan. I have this little thing that I leave on my desk. So growing up, Cinderella was my favorite Disney, well, still is my favorite Disney princess, but I have this little thing that sits on my desk that reminds me to dream when life gets a little crazy.
Beautiful, beautiful. So let me tell you about that story object idea. I don't call it show and tell. I don't call it bring and brag or anything fancy. Sometimes I invite kids to bring back a paper bag. I give them a paper bag at the door on a Thursday night when they're leaving to catch the bus. And the challenge is to bring something that rolls, maybe. We've been talking about rolling or sliding in math. Or I might say, bring something that reminds you of someone else. So I've had a child bring in the baby bracelet that's put on a little baby when they're born at the hospital because they wanted to remember their baby brother. I've had a child bring a recipe for rhubarb crisp because it reminds them of their grandmother who lives in Aurelia. I've had a child culturally who has brought in something from a powwow, a piece of regalia that they might wear in that paper bag. The paper bag is the surprise, right? And I'm all for surprise. I mean, I teach in a university and the students, I'll just say they often say to me, Jan, we love coming here. They have to endure me at 8:30 on a Monday morning. I teach drama at 8:30 until 11:30 on Monday morning. Not one student comes late unless they have a dental appointment, right? Um, you know, they just come because they know when they come in, the room is going to be ready and it's going to be a day of surprise. So I just think not that there's anything wrong with high school, but high school sometimes lacks that surprise that we have with young learners. Kindergarten to grade 6, that's my world. I now teach in a university, but I think we need to continue to dig for surprise. That's what really matters. Look at all these people that used to live in Aurelia. I want to talk a little bit about ritual and routine. I'm a real fan of planning. Not that I can't deviate from that when a child brings in something that they want to share. I was sharing with the group earlier today, I have these wonderful rocks that say shine on them or sparkle. These are like, this is Dollarama. I'm doing a little advertisement for Dollarama. I have several sets of these that I might put around the room sometime that you then have to go find one and see if you can connect that to your story object. I remember the day I put this out and a little kid who gave me actually this gold egg had this rock to go with it. And it was just this incredible synchronicity of something that shines, and then he was able to talk about this egg. So sometimes you can structure it. You can ask kids to bring something back in that bag that fits that thing. I often used to send home a fancy box that you can buy again at a dollar store. And then it was a sharing object. The kid had to come back to class and think of 3 riddles about that. So I always remember a child who put a carrot, and they can put whatever they want in the box. It's a shoe box. And he came back and he was shaking this thing. And one of the kids said, as we were sitting down in a circle, we were getting ready to guess what Reuben had brought in this box. One of the kids said to him, "Don't shake it. You're going to break it." And Reuben looked out at everybody and he said, "It's not fragile." New word for him. So out of storytelling can come this incredible rich language that kids will use when they're channeled to do something with something in a creative way. And you know, it was just a carrot that he put in there out of the crisper in his fridge, but he had the best riddles for it. He said, "It can roll, rabbits like it, but I don't." Those were his 3 riddles. And, you know, it was just kind of a wonderful way to introduce language through storytelling. I'm going to send you away again, and you have exactly 45 seconds. And your job, if you're in, how many of you are in a house? Put your hand up if you're in a house. Okay, so if you're in a house, I want you to go to the kitchen in your house. And I want you to find one object in your kitchen. If you are sitting in an office, there's no reason why you can't find a stapler, whatever is on your desk in front of you. It might be a paper clip, it might be an eraser, it might be a pen, it can be whatever you like. You've got 45 seconds. Go find something and come back with it. Okay. Did everybody find something? Okay. I'm going to send you away with a breakout into breakout groups of 2. You're just going to be partnered up with somebody. We might have one group of 3. You're going to go away for 2 minutes. 1 minute each to share the story of the object. And I want you to tell it in first person. So I ran upstairs and I got egg beaters. I am so tired. They only pull me out for a birthday cake. And I have to work so hard for a minute. Then I'm put in water and washed up and shoved back into a drawer. That's my story of the egg beater coming to life as a story object. So it's first person telling. You're going to tell the story as if you are that object. 1 minute each. Partners, here we go. Go ahead. I had fun with Essel, who is an amazing new Canadian from Cameroon. She told an incredible story, bringing alive a pad of sticky notes and a pen. There she is. I told the story of the glue bottle, and I'm going to tell you the story again. I love being squeezed. And children open the top and they squeeze out my imagination. And sometimes they make a card with me. Sometimes they make a mask with me. And I love making a mess. So I'm a firm believer that you don't need fancy puppets. I brought some puppets with me. I have lots of puppets. I have over 100 puppets. There are finger puppets. These are from the Folk Manus. I'm going to put that in the chat line here. I'm a big fan of Folk Manus puppets. They are now shipped out of Vancouver. They're incredibly durable. They're cheap. This is an $8 puppet that, can I make it? No. I look at things like this and I think, can I make this any cheaper? I can't. So I have purchased a lot of puppets from Folk Manus Puppet. I'm warning you though, it's an addictive site. There's a lot on there that you will want to spend money on. Sometimes chapters, does chapters still exist in Ontario? So sometimes chapters carries puppets. They come They come in all sizes, right? These are all finger puppets. I'm a big fan of finger puppets because they're very childlike. They can go outside, you can put them in the washing machine. I have very large puppets too. One of my favorite puppets is a very simple thing that you can actually make, but I love it too. I think I bought this at Folk Manus. It's just a black cylinder. It could be I have made these with gloves, buying gloves and cutting the fingers off them and then putting wings on. And it's the most beautiful puppet that has lots to say about helping to care for the world. And it can sit on your shoulder and it can be very animated. Sometimes when I do storytelling, I wait for the kids to come over to the circle and I just sit with this butterfly on my shoulder and I don't let on that I know it's there because it doesn't look like I know it's there, does it? It just sort of sits there. Puppets can be a stapler, as you know. I love telling the story of a pop can that's found on the side of the playground. A candy wrapper can tell a story about where it came from. Something in the rituals that I love to do is to send each child home with something as a surprise at the end of the day. So I will put a penny into the hand of every child as they go out the door. I ask them to take it, close it, keep the story of that penny in there. If you want to write it down, if you have a big friend that can be your secretary, I think that's really fun. You might dictate it. Kids know how to record a story. They might draw the story of where that penny has gone. But that kind of a thing, you can't imagine. Well, you can imagine, I hope, the fun that can happen with giving every kid a paper clip. Where did that paper clip travel? And where has it gone? A clothespin is incredible fun. I just did a clothespin storytelling activity with 18 people who are tiptoeing into dementia and Alzheimer's. And the stories, when an object is placed in your hand, it's one thing to tell a story about the first time you learned to cut, but when you actually hold a pair of scissors or when you actually hold a clothespin, and let's be honest, there are kids who would never, ever have held a clothespin before. A woman who rarely speaks last week told the most magnificent story of the day her mother hung out a line of diapers and the wind broke the line and they ended up in the sea. They ended up in the Atlantic Ocean. She lived in an outport. The whole clothesline went into the ocean and her husband had to go and get a boat and bring it in. Was it true? Who cares? She told the most beautiful story and she became absolutely animated when she told it. Have I got 5 more minutes?
We're right at 9:50 now.
Okay.
A couple more minutes to wrap up.
I'm going to end with a couple things to think about. I really love rituals, and one of the rituals that I tell at that I share at the very beginning of class is the passing of a stone. This is a stone that's off the beach at Middle Cove in Newfoundland. Everybody can find a stone. A student made a very special pocket for it. It's a pocket off an old pair of jeans, and the stone lives in there. That stone is the story object, the talking piece as it goes around the circle. So the stone for Indigenous people is the ear of the earth, because Indigenous people all over the world believe that stones hold our stories, and they're always watching. They are the grandfather. They're the Mishomis in the Anishinaabeg world, of the listening world. So that's a routine. We pass the stone around the circle, and it's okay to be quiet and hold the stone and then pass it on. But I might say tomorrow when I'm teaching, I might say, what's your favorite thing to do on a rainy day? Somebody picks up the stone in the middle of the circle. They might say, I love to read comic books. and then they pass the stone to the next person. How many of you use a talking piece when you're doing storytelling? Yeah, you can raise your hand on the screen. So that's one object that I use a lot. I also use a beautiful sound. So I have these tiny little symbols. I bought them at a store a long time ago, and I keep them in my pocket, or I give them to a learner. I will give them to a 5-year-old, and the 5-year-old can then say when it's time to stop. And when we hear it's time to finish that sentence or that piece of the story that you were sharing and come back to the circle. I will stop there so we have time to have some question and answer. Is that perfect, Stacy? Yeah?
Yeah, if anybody has some questions, and then if not, we have some poll questions for everybody before we take a break.
Some thoughts, questions you can ask me, anything. Oh, I forgot to show you Mo the Mouse. I have to show you Mo the Mouse. Mo the Mouse is an Indigenous storytelling program that originated in Vancouver. There are elders in Vancouver who make these wonderful little homes. Now in here is Mo. Mo lives in this little tunnel, and I was fascinated with Mo the Mouse because it was particularly designed for Indigenous children. And the transferability of it is incredible. If you Google Mo the Mouse, here comes Mo. Now he's kind of shy. Come on, Mo. Oh, he's coming out with his tail first. Mo, that's kind of rude. Could you turn around before you come out? Could you turn around? Here he comes. He's never been in the company of all of you, so he's a little shy, but come on, Mo, you've got one ear out. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, there's everybody. Mo the Mouse. Very simple little puppet. He lives in this little house, and he comes with a little carrying bag that goes around the neck of somebody who might be feeling kind of sad. They get to babysit Mo for the day. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. If I had been away and I had chicken pox and I just came back to school, I might need to have Mo with me all day. So I get to be the keeper of Mo, and he can come out and help me with my painting or my reading or whatever. But Mo the Mouse is absolutely captivating. It really is just a simple ball of fun fur with a face on it, ears, like talk about simple, with a tail. I can tell you 1,000 children have cuddled Mo. He's very soft. You can't feel him on the screen. But he lives in this little house. This is Mo's mouse house. And there are songs that go with Mo the Mouse. You can take training with Mo the Mouse. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, hello. So lots of singing I do with storytelling. And I don't spend a lot of money on storytelling. I make stuff up, and you can do it. You can tell a story. What did the carrot say to the piece of celery at lunchtime? What did the spoon say to the fork? What did the salt say to the pepper? What did the tablecloth say to the table? Like, those kinds of things are easy. You just have to fire up your imagination. Let the kids lead you. As my friend Esther said, I learned so much from kids. When she was a teacher in Cameroon, step back and make room for the magic to happen. So I'll stop there. Yeah, that's Mo the Mouse. Thanks, everybody. Give yourselves a big hand. I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. I think we just lost Stacy. She looks like she's frozen. Is somebody going to step in there?
Yes, I want to thank you again, Jan, for
And engaging
taking the time.
I'm sure that
and for
everybody has
sharing.
learned a lot.
There she is. Stacy's Wi-Fi came back.
Yeah.
Oh, my Wi-Fi's been awful this morning. So everybody got a little peek at what drama class was like.
Oh, she froze
Yeah,
again.
she's froze again, but
So,
Teachers College, and I love it. I miss the
okay, Stacy, I'm sorry, but we can't hear you. So I'm going to just finish off and run the polls. So thank you, Jan, for sharing all this drama information, because so often we just focus on the mechanics of reading when we work with kids around literacy. So thank you for bringing in, reading is thinking guided by print. So thank you.
You're
So we
most
do
welcome.